Here we are again. By the way, you like my flowered shirt? Got this a couple of weeks ago. I think it looks pretty good on me. In any event, Amos. There are several passages in Amos chapter 5. I'm going to turn over there here I've got my Bible right here, that I think we should be paying attention to. Now, certainly one can look all through the book of Amos. Amos is a fascinating book. It's written about the same time as 1st Isaiah, Isaiah 1 to 39, in the 8th century BC. Amos is not speaking to the southern kingdom of Judah. Amos is speaking to the northern kingdom of Israel. You're like, Israel, Judah? Remember, there was this split in the kingdom. And so Israel splits into two. The northern 10 tribes are called Israel. The southern 2 tribes are called Judah. So Amos is speaking to the northern 10 tribes shortly before they are destroyed by Assyria in the 8th century. The primary thing that Amos decries is the abuse of the poor in Israel. Specifically, if you look at Amos chapter 2, verses 6 to 16, you'll see this indictment. And that's even the language that we use when we talk about the prophets sometimes, is the indictment. Where the prophet kind of writes like Israel is in a court of law, and the prophet is the prosecuting attorney speaking for God, making the case against them. So the case that's made against Israel is essentially the abuse of the poor. In fact, Amos says in Amos chapter 2, you pant after the very dust on the head of the poor. In other words, saying that the poor, the dust on their head is worth something. Even that is something we're going to kind of harvest, right? As one would harvest wheat, or you take their sandals from them. This is the only protection for their feet. The poor don't have much, and yet these folks are so abusing the poor that they're taking what little they do have. This is the major issue in Amos. Isaiah has other things that he's concerned about as well, although the abuse of the poor is pretty important. Jeremiah has some things related to the problems with Israel's leadership and the abandonment of Yahweh. Ezekiel, of course, is in the exile, and he's very much concerned with how do we live in this foreign land. The prophets have all kinds of different interests, but Amos, with Isaiah, but Amos certainly is so focused. I mean, it's like a laser beam focus on this issue of the treatment of the poor. And it's interesting that Amos writes this at a period of real prosperity in the northern tribes of Israel. The trade routes were expanding and money was flowing into the coffers. And it's then that Amos says, woe to you, right? So, Amos chapter 5, some key verses. Number 7. And Amos decries their desire for abusing the poor that turns justice to bitterness, justice that's to bring sweetness, justice that's to bring prosperity, justice that is to bring shalom, peace. But what does it bring? It brings bitterness. It's like this. It's this word for a wood that you burn it, and it gives